But I mean, Baruch Hashem, from my own eyes, I remember. I don't know if you remember the story. I remember there was a couple once. This is talking about years ago. We're talking about close to 8 years ago. That came in. It was still in Rebbe's house.
Right.
That didn't have children for close to 10 years.
I remember that very well. Yep.
And you know, it's just a shliach. Rebbe's a shliach. But I remember him. He felt their pain when they left the couple as together. And he said the husband. He says, I remember him telling us, Maish, do you know what that guy was thinking the whole time in the room? I should give them a heter to get divorced so they can move on, and maybe she'll have children, because he felt it was his problem.
They actually said it because I was in the room. They
said it out.
Yep.
I remember, and Rabbi Yitzchak was heartbroken. I remember I was there. He was heartbroken by it.
This was a couple that loved each other.
Right, they loved each other.
The man knew it was his fault.
He knew it was his fault,
and
Rabbi Yitzchak vinched them on, and they had the schus of making a bris. I believe it was the year later.
He promised them that they would have a child. He didn't believe it, and she didn't believe it.
Right.
But she wanted him anyways. Even she was willing to be childless her whole life.
Right.
And he said, "I can't do this to her. I love her. How could I let her?
How could you let her be without children?"
No children. I know it's me.
But I remember. It wasn't. So now it's a happy story.
Right.
But I'm saying the feeling of the tsar that the person felt was eminent. You're able to see it on Rabbi Yitzchak. He felt the pain.
No, and they didn't believe him. I don't know if you were in the room or not, but they didn't believe him. So what he did, he actually described the features of the baby. He said, "I promise you."
I wasn't there for that, yeah, but I know that that's easy because I had that. I've had that already through telephone.
He told you your children before?
With me, he likes to play with me, so he'll tell me, yeah, no, maybe so, but no, Baruch Hashem, I mean, with all of my kids, I mean, since I knew Rebbe, he pretty on key. But I had a friend of mine, it's a mishpacha friend, like almost like an adopted uncle to me, which his daughter was married for I think 2 or 3 years without any children. So there it's more personal. So I know the family, and I know that. And he was by my simchas, and he knows Rabbi Yitzchak. But they're not Rebbe-going type people. They don't go, they're more modern, became frummer. The kids are more into, they learn, and they're very frum, Baruch Hashem, very beautiful kids. But they're not the type to go to a Rebbe.
Right.
And I remember we went to in Meron, and I called my family member, and I says, give me the names. We're here now by Reb Shimon, and we want to daven for you. So he gave me the name. He was shocked that I remembered him, and I called him. But he's family to me, so he's like an uncle.
Right.
And after we were leaving Reb Shimon, so I was a little chutzpahdik, but I started to bother Rebbe. Rebbe, what's going to be with this couple? Rebbe, it's 3. So he says, Shmuley, don't worry, they're going to have. I said, really? So he says, yeah, don't worry, they're going to have a boy. His hair's going to be curly. Who has curly hair? And he starts describing this child to me.
Right.
And so I was like overtaken. I called up I said, we've just finished davening, and I'm telling you they're going to have. He says, what do you mean? I said, I'm telling you they're going to have. He says, they started, I think, fertility at the time, but it wasn't taking and stuff. I told that to Rabbi Kimmel before. He said, don't worry, they're going to have. And I mentioned it to the person, my uncle, adopted uncle, we'll call him. I said to him, don't worry, Rabbi, I told him, who has curly hair? And I didn't know that the husband has curly hair. Who's tall, who's this, who's that. I mean, I met him by the chassan, and then they moved to Eretz Yisrael, so I didn't see them. The girl I grew up with. So he was very taken aback. To him, at that time, I mean, everybody wants to hear good news.
Right.
So, but he was to him, he was more shocked that I remembered him, that we went and davened for him. Right before she gave birth. Actually, once he found out that she got pregnant, he called me because he says, you remembered us then in Meron, I wanted to let you know that she's pregnant. And then, again, when she was in her 9th, officially near the due date, he called me once in a panic. Oh, should we? Because the parents of the first child, it's a huge simcha of an anicle after a couple of years of not having. They wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael. So he was trying to get me to ask Rabbi Yitzchak when the time would be. So, like when should he schedule his trip? So he calls me up and he says, Shmuley, can we go? I asked the rabbi to down for now. She's going. So I called up the rabbi and he says, nothing happening for at least 2 weeks. I don't know what you're talking about. He says, all right. I said, hello, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't plan any trips now. Nothing happening for 2 weeks. He said, okay, that's what I wanted to know.